is gross margin. So how you calculate the gross margin? Gross margin is calculated by revenue minus cost of sale divided by the revenue. So means your profit, gross profit, only the cost of direct sales. It does not include the cost of marketing, cost of administration or distribution. So it helps to understand how well we are able to charge our customers. That's only, nothing else. Okay. Then you have operating margin. So operating margin means what is your direct cost of business. So it includes your distribution, it includes your marketing, it includes your other labor cost, your CEO or whoever is necessary to run the operations. Okay, but it does not include non-operating expense. Non-operating expense means the business expenses which are not relevant to run your company. So what can be the example of that expense? Yesterday I gave you two. What expenses are you doing which are not 100% necessary to run the company or not directly involved in operations? Rental of the building where you have a shop. It doesn't affect your business performance, right? What else?
CEO salary.
No, CEO salary is necessary. If you don't have a CEO, you don't have a company. The tax is yes. The income tax is not relevant to the company's operation. Correct? It's not necessary to pay the business. What else? Financing, interest. If you have taken money on the loan or you use your own money, it doesn't affect company operations, correct? The company operations will remain the same because the money has no color, right? So these are non-operating expenses. It does not affect the company's operations. You may, if you are incurring those expenses are different from, even if you don't incur these expenses, you may choose how you finance your business, correct? For example, the assets. You may be running a taxi of your own or you may be renting the taxi from outside, but doesn't affect your operating performance of the taxi itself, right? So whatever income you are making, it doesn't make any difference. If you own the car, 100% is yours. If it's on rental, some part will go to the owner and some part you will keep. But you cannot compare with the other taxi person. That your income is 100,000, my income is 10,000. He owned the car and I am renting the car, right? So how will I see it? I will look at my gross income first, right? To compare who is running the taxi more efficiently. So you need to be careful when you are comparing, especially with your competitors or with your previous or other companies. You need to compare on a non-operating income side. Non-operating income is not relevant for comparing. Okay, so this is an example. Look at there are three examples here. You can take one to company A, B and C. So the cost of sale is different in each company, 3,000, 6,000 and 7,000, correct? So the gross margin here is different, 7,000, 4,000, 3,000 and 3,000. So what does it tell you? The company A has a manufacturing cost. So what does it look like? What is the business model of company A, business model of company B, business model of company C and the company D? What they are doing? They are earning the same profit, but there is a different business model that they are following. If you look at the profit and loss statement, what do you understand? What company A is doing? So company A is manufacturing the things by themselves, correct? Because they have manufacturing cost and their raw material, the cost of sale is very low, right? Company B is not manufacturing by themselves, they are just buying from somebody and making a sale, correct? Company C is when your selling costs are almost negligible, when you are selling somebody else's brand, right? If you are selling LG brand, do you need to do the marketing for LG? LG will do it, right? But if you are doing some local made refrigerator, you need to do the marketing for them, correct? Because that company may not be doing the marketing, or you are making by yourself, or you are getting it outsourced. So maybe the company B is selling its own brand but outsourcing it. So you have two different business models here. One is company A is doing it by themselves, company B is outsourcing the business, company C is selling somebody else's product, right? And company D is an agent. When you are agent, you don't recognize the total income, you recognize your commission only as an income. Okay, so when you are an agent of somebody, so it means that if its customer is paying you 10,000, is not your income, because you are just an agent. You are collecting on behalf of your principal, and principal pays you 30% commission, so you earn only 30%. So that's your income. So all the four companies are making the same profit, same gross profit, right? Same net operating margin, 3,000 each. All of them, they're making the same, but the business model is different. So now you compare the gross margin ratio, gross profit ratio. How you will calculate gross profit ratio? Gross margin divide by sales. So company A is 7,000 divided by 10,000, which is 70%, right? So you can see the gross profit margin ratio is different for each company. 70%, 40%, 30% and 100%. So if you are just comparing the model, comparing the gross profit ratio without understanding their business model, so what will you think? Which company is the best? Or company D, because it's 100%, right? But they are just an agent. What if their agencyship is cancelled? What kind of business they will have tomorrow? Nothing, right? So if company B is risk, company D is the highest risk company, correct? Then you have company C also selling somebody else's brand. What if that company is go bankrupt tomorrow? They have nothing to sell also, right? What if company B seems to be outsourcing this business? So they also have their own risk, right? Company A is doing everything by themselves. What if there is an economic downturn and there is no sale? What will happen to the company? They still have to pay the labor, right? Or they have to lay off the labor. So every business model has their own risk. If you do by yourself, it has a risk of fixed cost, right? Company A has a high fixed cost. They have to pay the manufacturing labor cost. Company B does not have a high fixed cost, but is outsourcing its business, correct? So what is the risk in outsourcing? Quality controls, your processes, internal processes, which how you are making is going outside, correct? Somebody can copy. What else? If the supplier have a problem, like now the Apple is having problem with the Chinese companies, right? They outsource most of their production into China, and now China and US have a trade war. So what is happening to their supply chain? They are not able to get the products produced, right? So there is a problem, correct? So there is a problem with outsourcing as well. So every business model have their own different risk. So first is not the ratios are not only helping you to understand the profitability, also helping you, if you compare, it will help you to understand what are the business model of those companies, how they are operating, and what kind of risk they do have, correct? Operating margin is same everywhere, because we assume hypothetically every profit margin is same, but in real life it may not be same. Right, it may be different, because there may be different cost of sales, there may be different cost of production. They definitely will be a different, because if you outsource, the outsource company will also want to make a profit, correct? So the cost may not be necessarily the same, but for example, for this, just to make a point, I make it same so that you can understand. Okay. Well, here is another example. We just made up another example. What if there is the company A has a higher profit, higher sale of 12,000 now instead of 10,000. So what will happen to their profits? Their manufacturing cost will remain the same, because they already have the labor, right? Correct? Their cost of sale will increase slightly, because that's the labor cost, that's the material cost. So their gross profit ratio will drop slightly, but their operating margin will increase. Correct? So the benefit of, they will be getting the benefit of scale if it increase in the future. And same, if they drop the business because their costs remain the same, so they will also have problem in their business, right? They will be making a loss. Correct?